everyone, welcome to the Malbeefance channel. This is episode 11 of our series replay for Strategic Command World War II, War in the Pacific. Things are really heating up here in the Eastern Solomons and the Coral Sea, all around the Solomon Islands here. The Imperial Japanese Navy and the United States Navy and their allies from Australia and the Dutch Indonesia have been slugging it out in ever increasing intensity. Last episode, we had the loss of the Japanese carriers Soryu and Shokaku, coupled with the earlier loss of the carrier Akagi and the super battleship Yamato. All of that combined, the Japanese Navy has taken one heck of a hit, and I'm interested to see how the computer responds to that. As so far, the Allied Navy they haven't taken comparable losses. They have lost some ships, but they haven't lost any carriers yet, and certainly not any major fleet carriers like the Japanese have lost. So let's go ahead and advance the turn and see what we get. All right, so Mr. Prime Minister Winston Churchill, while you did promise in 1940 to relinquish all our rights in China once the war was over, we are coming under increasing pressure to do so now while the war continues. Doing so will improve Chiang Kai-shek's political position and standing, although Indian nationalists will welcome it as a sign of a weakening of the empire. Signing a treaty relinquishing our rights will increase China's national morale. However, it will have the exact opposite effect on Indian national morale. If we do not sign, there will be a negative impact on Chiang Kai-shek's position, reducing Chinese national morale by 1,000. In view of these facts, would you like to sign the Sino-British Treaty for the relinquishment of extraterritorial rights in China? So just have a look at the notes here. Okay, so in autumn of 1942, the U.S. put Britain under pressure to sign this treaty, conceding the commercial and other rights that the British had in the country. Neither Hong Kong nor Kowloon were included in the treaty. The aim of this treaty was to improve relations between the UK and China, and the USA signed a similar treaty with China on the same day. Now, the thing is, it's going to affect national morale. Okay, UK national morale will be reduced by 3,500 points, while Chinese national morale will go up by the same amount. Now, the thing is, nationalist Chinese morale is actually pretty high. Okay, they've been doing a good job of holding the Japanese back from advancing all that much in China. So I really don't have a lot of incentive to go ahead and sign this. Call me Churchill if you want, but I'm gonna stick with the empire. All right, so Chiang Kai-shek's failure to obtain a treaty with the UK reduces Chinese national morale. All right, so from the office of the Secretary of War, Henry L. Stimson, Claire Chennault is calling for a unit of strategic bombers to be called the 14th Air Force to be deployed in China. If you agree, then in March 1943, they will deploy as part of the China Air Task Force under Claire Chennault's command. It'll cost 300 MPPs at 100 per turn. So, yeah, definitely. It gives me a new avenue of attack on the Japanese. So, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. All right, anything else? All right, so our submarines in the slot are impeding flow of supplies to Japanese forces on Guadalcanal. Japanese garrisons mobilize at Hong Kong. Communist partisan activity in China. And our submarine raider destroys phosphate landing facilities at Nero. Chinese collaborationist leader Wang Jianghui declares war on the Allies. Not entirely sure that's a smart move. British develop heavy bombers, level 2. And American scientists spying in intelligence up to 70%. Russian scientists report advanced tank development up to 32%. Nationalist Chinese logistic development up to 94. Just missed it. Communist Chinese command and control up to level 1. Great. That helps out their one lone headquarters unit out there. All right, so there is our ledger for the up and coming turn. I'm absolutely killing the American MPPs here with all of these things that I'm paying for over time. I really got to work on the rest of their economy. All right, so good. They were only able to reinforce up to 6. All right, so I'm not sure what carrier that is out there, but they're attempting to support advances on Changsha, and the Chinese Air Force is actually doing a half decent job of interdicting them. Oh wow! From all the way over in India, the British were able to intercept Japanese aircraft in excuse me, in Rangoon. All right, anything else going on? Okay, here come the ground attacks. So we got a major push going on in northern China. And it looks like they're trying to bolster their defense position in Burma. Now, obviously, due to the lack of my knowledge of what units the Japanese have in the background and in under construction or formation, accepting that I am missing that knowledge. Oh, what is this? Japanese Corps suffers supply losses. Awesome. Due to or suffers damage due to low supply. So my thought is that probably the best move for the Japanese right now would be to go ahead and focus on trying to get some kind of headway in China and Burma. All right, so raiders, once again, we damaged the phosphate facilities. RN, excuse me, the Royal Navy disrupting convoys there. FDR and Churchill meet in Casablanca and demand unconditional surrender. Historic event there. All right, so there is the military activity summary. That's the one that I missed. Holland takes out 13 production points. All right, so U.S. intelligence spots a garrison at Sarong and a full army at Kalgan and an army at Nagasaki, garrison in Tokyo. Coast Watchers report there are no Japanese naval units currently in or near the Gilbert and Ellice Islands. Ellice Islands? All right, so the second Communist Chinese garrison is reformed. And that is our only reinforcement for this turn. All right, so we're going to go over to the American West Coast first. And upgrade the first U.S. tanks. So that increases their mobility. And the Essex can get underway. Join the fighting. All right, so this is just a garrison unit. I wanted to bring them out here. Help bolster defenses in Hawaii. Because I want to get this air defense unit out of there eventually. Do I want to rush him in there? Well, at least this way, when he's ready to move next turn, he'll have resupplied. Same thing for the destroyer Pringle. All right, so let's look at what repairs we can make, or upgrades in this case. All right, it'd be a better idea to go ahead and bring him all the way back to one of the major ports. That way, not only can... So at these smaller ports, the only thing I can do is get them back up to level 8. At the larger ports, I can get them all the way back up to 10. And they suffer casualties on an undefended beach. All right, so that maybe that'll help link up supplies. Let's go ahead and continue. Oh, interceptors from all the way up at Rabaul. Oof. All right, so they were only able to intercept twice, and it doesn't look like there are any other interceptors in the area. Can he reach? Yes, he can. All right. Yeah, he was heavily damaged, so let's get him back to a major port. Whoops. Did not mean to do that. Get my carriers surrounded here, so they're protected. Or at least as much as I can. All right, so let's see if we can finally carry Guadalcanal. Yes, awesome. And let the tanks move in there and occupy the town. All right, let's start getting more supplies in as quickly as we can. All right, that means I can pull these subs out of here. See if we can send them, do a little hunting. I don't want to get them too close, because they could be spotted. Now, I know the Japanese already know this submarine's in the area, so go ahead and scout out the ports and then just get him as far away as I can so he can interdict that supply line. Now, I could leave him here and see if that draws a response, but I got to pull the carriers back. I want to upgrade the carriers, and I also need to replenish that air group. So just have him sit out here trying to keep an eye on things. If any ships come by through this corridor heading down to the Solomons. But to be honest with you, I'm getting the impression that the computer has given up on the Solomons. And we haven't seen anything in here recently, but that don't mean nothing. All right, so we take Buna back. That's awesome. I can reinforce him a little. All right, so we're making some advances in New Guinea. We've taken Guadalcanal. So I'm just keeping a blocking force down here in case anything tries to rush the Coral Sea. And then next turn what I'll do is, now that we've got this area secured, I'll have the battleships come up here and lend some shore bombardment. Hopefully we'll be able to take Buin before these guys start hurting for supplies. Do I have anybody else that can go up there and help him out? Not yet. So let's go ahead. Get these guys in port. Now, who do we have here? 1st Marine Defense. Okay. Actually, just state. Well, he ought to be able to get on amphib transports being next to this port. Because I didn't want to put him up here in this hex for supply reasons. I think that is going to do it for this part of the map. All right, so all right, good idea sending the submarine first. So now we know that destroyer is there. Can we get him before he retreats? That's the repulse. I'd rather go with the Royal Sovereign. Probably get more damage done. Yep. All right, so Royal Sovereign sinks the destroyer. But now they know she's there. That's okay. So move the ships around so that the computer's not, well, I should say the Japanese are not certain where they are up here. All right, now do I need to move? Nope, I don't need to move any of them, but I do need to move these guys. Can I operate them? Yes, I can. So that's basically train movement. I'd like to put him here in Imphal. It looks like the closest I can get him is here. reinforce my guys out here. Elite reinforcements for some of them. See, and I can't get supplies to him to help reinforce him, so... Alright, I'll go ahead and get both of these guys heading down this way. Maybe we can go ahead and we can start pushing down the Burma River. Now, can we do? Yep. We can do some damage. Alright, so I'm using the cavalry to prevent any kind of flanking maneuver. Alright, so much for Burma. Now let's go over to China, which is turning into a main front for us. Alright, so they have finished these defenses. I'm going to keep going around. Fortifying the approaches to the capital there. All right, reinforce our fighters. Now I'm trying to move the artillery up, but I don't want to miss out on this opportunity. Oh, sweet. And now the artillery can go right in there. Alright, that didn't go according to plan, but considering we took out that core, I'll still consider it an overall win. Now the computer knows our line here is thinly held. Let's try and get them a little closer. Alright, I'll hold off on the rest of these guys because they're in good defensive positions. I don't want to move them out of it. It's worth it. Ah, they managed to do well. They did 2 and 2. That's all right. All right, that's going to slow them down. Thank you. All right, we weren't able to do any damage, but at least now I have a feeling they'll pull them back. All right, can I move my Russian? No. Why can my Russians not attack? They joined the Allies, but they didn't declare war on the Japanese. That's the only thing I can guess is going on there. All right, I am going to need him up front to help with this mess going on here. All right, so let's move on. Let me go ahead and I need to purchase some units for the Chinese, but I don't think I have enough. No, the only thing I can do is reconstitute that garrison. But let's go ahead and do it. They'll come out pretty quick. All right, don't have anything for the UK. United States. I can get another tank unit out there. What have I got coming? Some air power, lots of Navy. I really don't think I need to buy much more Navy unless I want to get a few more subs. So let's go ahead and stick with the suggestion about getting more air power out there. You know what? I'm going to buy that airship because I can use it for scouting. And I have an idea. So like once they go ahead and they get deployed, I can actually use them in Australia and use them for scouting around Indonesia. All right, so finally the Russians can purchase a Zhukov HQ. We already did Nationalist China. Communist China does not have enough to do anything. And Australia. Well, they could actually use any of these, the Corps, the maritime bombers. Let's go ahead and stick with the maritime bombers. Again, that'll come back to being able to scout out around Indonesia. I don't know. I have a feeling that we're going to be doing a lot of naval fighting in that area. All right, so the UK still has some production points left that we can put towards R&D. Unfortunately, it's not enough for industrial tech or production technology. So logistics, yeah, they could definitely use that. And now what about combat stuff? So we're 1 point shy on a lot of these. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to stick it in logistics. And we bank everybody else's. All right. All right, so that's going to do it for this turn. And sorry, I'm making this one a short episode. That's going to do it for this episode. Um, but hey, some pretty good advances here. Americans have taken Guadalcanal. The Australians have regained Buna. And it looks like we're finally going to start going on the offensive here, at least in the Solomons. So if you made it this far, as always, thank you very much. Don't forget to leave a like if you've actually made it through the entire episode. Don't forget to drop a comment. It helps grow the channel. Share this with somebody who you think likes this kind of content. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Pretty much like everybody else that does content creation, about 1/3 or less of everybody that's watching the videos is subscribed. Okay, and I mean, I'm not doing this for the money. Obviously, I'm just doing this for the fun. I'm just kind of interested in seeing how big we can grow the channel because I've been doing this for about maybe a little bit more than a year now. We got roughly 130 videos out there. How many games have we gone through? We've actually played beginning to end. I think it's 3 now. And I'm really kind of surprised that we made it this far. 95 subscribers, people that are watching regularly. And so I think that's really cool. I mean, I know there's people out there got millions of subscribers and they're doing the same thing I'm doing. I'm probably never going to touch that. That's all right though, because I'm really doing this more for fun than anything else. So if you have any comments you want to drop, any games you're thinking that you'd like to see if I got it, I'll go ahead and do it. I'm thinking about really thinking hard about Battlestar Galactica Deadlock. Unfortunately, I don't have the DLCs to go with it. The game is no longer available for purchase. Maybe somewhere I can get a hold of the DLCs. I don't know. If anybody's got any ideas, let me know. So with that, thanks again, and I will see you on the next one.